Was the statement written by you?
Yes, it was.
So you take ownership of all the contents that are contained in the statement?
I do.
You did not write the statement under duress, undue influence and stuff?
No. It's my statement.
You must say it boldly.
Oh, yeah, no, it's my statement.
Okay. Allegation have it that in executing the project or the operation Patlan, you had to first capture IPID as a very important weapon against Patlan. And amongst the strategies you have employed is that one of you must date McBride and the other must provide financial resource to McBride as a way of capture so that you are able to execute properly the program of collapsing Patlan. What's your take on that?
I don't know how to put this, but it is the most absurd thing I have heard. I have at no time ever even thought of capturing anyone, let alone a state institution. It's absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
No, we'll go there. So with Mr. O'Sullivan, what is your working relationship? Are you a personal assistant or what?
So I haven't worked there since 2022. But when I was there, I was kind of a researcher. You know, the person in the office that if you need photocopying, or you need pretty much anything that needed to be done. And as the time went by, I was trained.
Administrative clerk.
Yeah, and then the more I stayed, the more I learned and was trained, and then took on more responsibilities and bigger cases. And then I got my CFE. So it came about like that. And it was a normal employee-employer thing. You do what you take instructions from your employer, and
okay. So Mr. O'Sullivan testified here that he went to the Sabre Hills as a complainant to point out what he deems as a crime scene to the IPID officials. What was your business at Sabre Hills, you?
Me?
Yes.
I, as his employee, he said, let's go. And I got on the car and off we went.
So you're an employee of the complainant?
Correct.
So you went there in your capacity as a co-complainant? Or
I wouldn't say co-complainant.
A deputy complainant?
More of a witness, perhaps, at some point, if I had to if I had to witness something. I know you're looking at me. But no, not as a co-complainant. No. But Paul said, right, we're going
got a call to go and point out the house at Sabre Hills Estate.
Who got a call?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember.
So Mr. O'Sullivan is called by IPID officials to come to Sabre Hills.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
But you did not get any call.
I can't remember. I can't remember.
So you don't remember?
It's possible that if you see, sometimes Paul would say, call so-and-so or message so-and-so, or he would do it himself.
But the point is, you, Miss Sarah-Jane Trent, did not receive any communication from IPID officials to go and appear in front of Sabre Hills Estate.
I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't remember.
You say in both paragraph 7.1 and paragraph 17 that there is some CFE qualification and skill that allows you to access information.
Correct.
Can you elaborate on that? What is CFE?
It's a certified fraud examiner. It's part of the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners. I don't know how much detail you'd like me to go into it.
No, but you say it allows you access to information. What information are you talking about?
Correct. So you have certain databases, and you have to have you apply to them, and you have to. Sorry, I'm getting distracted.
No, but what legal authority do you rely on in accessing people's information?
Okay, so before you do a search, you have to have. Sorry, can you ask me a question? I'm all over the place. Just
I'm asking you a question.
Yes.
On paragraph 7.1, on paragraph 17, you say your CFE allowed you access to information.
Correct.
Your CFE qualification and skills allowed you access to information.
Correct.
So I'm saying you are relying on what legal authority to access information that you are not meant to access?
Okay, so with the service provider of the information, you have a contract. So it's the same as a estate agent or something. They can do sort of a credit check, or if you're opening like an Edgar's or whatever. But with a CFE, and you've got limits on what certain information is. With a CFE, when you sign the contract, you have to provide your certification, you have to provide various things, and only then will they then accept that you can become you can have access. But they're very strict because you can't just do a search on anyone. You have to have predication, a reasonable suspicion that there is an offense. So,
for example, the state security agencies, if they want to tamper with my communication, they must make a formal application to the surveillance judge in a competent court of law so that they get permission. Now, you speak about the CFE and the association and speak about credit checks. Now, does the National Credit Act authorize you to access people's information?
I don't know on that level, but what I do know is that this is above board.
I put it to you that it doesn't, and if you are involved in anything of that sort, you are involved in an illegal operation.
Okay, I deny that I am. I deny I'm involved in any illegal operation. It's above board.
Okay, let's go back to section 24. That which you rely on.
Yes.
And section 24 bases itself mostly on people under investigation. Section 24 gives legislative authority to IPID investigators, not private individuals. Now, as a private investigator qualified, a lawyer qualified, you would have at least used your interpretation of statute skills to know that this thing you have written in your statement is actually irrelevant from what you are actually testifying. And from what is actually alleged that you would have done. You start your statement by making a reference from General Pahlane's testimony. But section 24 has nothing, completely no relevance to what you are alleged to have done at Sabre Hills.
Okay.
Do you accept that? Okay. In paragraph 19, you say we accompanied IPID investigators to Sabre Hills estate. We conducted investigations and interviews there. What interviews were you doing? What investigation were you doing? Under what capacity were you doing that investigation? You say in your statement.
Yeah,
Go to paragraph
yeah.
17. You say the reason you went to Sabre Hills, which is actually something against what Mr. O'Sullivan said. You say you went there, you say we conducted investigations, we conducted interviews. Under what capacity and authority to do that?
I think I've covered that. I'm just trying to think how I can put it in perspective. I don't really know how else to
Do you agree with me that the investigation was an investigation of IPID?
It was an IPID investigation.
You agree with me that you are not an IPID official?
I agree, yes.
What investigation were you doing at Sabre Hills Estate?
We were part of the investigation prior to it being opened.
How were you part of the investigation?
At Sabre Hills.
It's an IPID, it's a state investigation.
Yes.
You are not state officials. How were you part of any investigation? What authority do you have over any investigation?
All I can say is it was not unlawful or illegal.
No, it was unlawful. Do you see now why the state charged you on impersonating IPID officials? Do you understand now? Because you say it yourself. And this is a document, an official document to depose in Parliament. And the state is re-enrolling your case. And you say this in Parliament on record. And the state has got all the authority to request this information from us. And will gladly give them. You admit and confess on paragraph 19 that you conducted investigations and interviews at Sabre Hills.
And not as an IPID officer.
Yeah.
At all.
Why were you conducting
They haven't re-enrolled it.
I beg your pardon?
They haven't re-enrolled it.
Okay.
They're investigating but sorry, I don't want to be rude. So I didn't mean that. I'm satisfied I have not impersonated anyone, and I'm just glad that we.
You agree that it was a mistake for you to say you were conducting investigations and interviews at Sabre Hills? Before we must pass now.
Sorry, can you just repeat the question?
Do you agree with me that it was a mistake for you to say you were conducting interviews and investigations at Sabre Hills? Because the investigations that were conducted there are IPID investigations, and you're not an IPID official.
I see what you mean. I was not conducting an IPID investigation.
What investigation were you conducting?
I was going along to go and see the estate manager, and
why was the estate manager seen? For what reason?
To obtain to obtain the plans of the house.
Which house?
Mr. Pachlane's.
The one that was under investigation by IPID.
Correct.
So you were conducting IPID investigation. Look, let's maybe tone down a little bit. You go to Sabre Hills Estate. There is an investigation underway by IPID on Mr. Pachlane.
Correct.
On building a house in Sabre Hills Estate. You go there, not as an IPID official. You enter the precinct with IPID officials. You say you conducted interviews and investigations inside. And when we ask you what interviews, when you met with the estate manager, which subject of interview was on Sabre Hills house? There is only one subject of interview according to the record. It's the house of Mr. General Pachlane.
Correct.
Yes. Now, there is no other interview we were doing. So I'm saying to you, that is the reason why you admit here that you conducted investigations and interviews, and the state charged you for impersonating an IPID official. Let's pass that part. I was just briefing you the can of worms you're opening for yourself here. So did you request the building plan from the building inspector or building what?
Myself personally, no.
Who requested it?
I can't remember, but I can't remember. But I know that that was what the purpose of going. So I don't know exactly who spoke the words.
Did you request bank statements of General Patlan and anyone close to him?
I didn't request any bank statements.
You did not request?
No.
Okay.
As far
That's
as I
fine.
remember.
Did you ask from the security guards that were there, the security detail of General Patlan, including how many bodyguards, how many cars, how many guns, what kind of ammunition and all that?
Myself, no.
Who did it?
I don't know what was asked. I recall allegations of that, but I did not ask any of those questions.
Fine. Did IPID officials were with reprimand you from the alleged conduct of yourself and Mr. O'Sullivan?
No, not on that day.
So you just
on that day.
Okay, let's proceed. They did not reprimand you. Why are you saying the warrant of arrest was fraudulent? I didn't really get the explanation.
So the statements that they'd taken that formed the basis of the warrant of arrest, some of the statements had been were not. Sorry, I'd just like to the honourable members. This situation it's a trauma response, so it's why both are crying. So I'm very sorry if I get.
You can give me even if it's one reason.
Sorry?
You can give me even if it's one reason. Why do you think the warrant of arrest was fraudulent?
Oh, yes. Okay. So people did not tell the truth in their statements, and that we had introduced ourselves as IPID members or pretended to be, which is not true. And those were lies. And it was to stop any investigation into the acting National Commissioner of Police in South Africa.
Do you respect the South African judiciary?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
So how could you say a magistrate has issued a fraudulent warrant of arrest?
I'm not saying that.
And then when we're asking about the reasons, you don't blame the magistrate. You blame some other people. I mean, you are supposed to note the weaknesses you're talking about, but still there is a warrant of arrest from a magistrate.
If I'm not mistaken, the magistrate makes the decision on what is presented by the prosecutor, because they have different.
Okay, it's fine. I'm still not getting any response. Do you know the concept called vicarious liability?
I do.
You do. You say you were under unlawful arrest.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you understand that in terms of the principle of vicarious liability, you should have sued the minister for unlawful arrest or wrongful arrest or whatever you want to call it? Did you do that?
I did not. I don't.
Why did you not do it?
I was told. Well, firstly, I couldn't afford it. Secondly, and I did not have a lawyer. When Paul sued the state, he said that instead of me, because I probably won't get any a lot, that I could have a percentage of what he gets. That's why.
Let's leave it still. You are not giving me an answer, boss. You are a lawyer. You're supposed to know that if you're subjected to unlawful arrest, unlawful or malicious prosecution, you can sue the minister.
Yes, I do know that.
But you decided
have to have money for a lawyer.
Take that option. So it doesn't make sense. But let's pass it.
No, I couldn't afford a lawyer. Otherwise, I would have.
Okay. But
I would have loved to.
but Mr. Sullivan paid more than 200,000 rands for McBride's lawyers.
For?
McBride's lawyers.
Yeah, but not mine.
So you are a child of a lesser court. Okay. So you asked for a warrant of arrest, you were not given. Then when does it become fraudulent? Paragraph 27, you asked for a warrant of arrest, you were not given. Then how did you then consolidate that the warrant of arrest was fraudulent?
I hear what you're saying. Firstly, I had never committed any offense. So if there was a warrant of arrest, it had to be under a lie. Someone had to lie because I did not commit any offense.
Yeah, but the point is...
So it had to be a lie.
Yeah, but the point is, at paragraph 27, you say, during the arrest, no warrant was issued out. So
no, I didn't say no warrant was issued. I asked to see it. So when they came, he had the clipboard. So you can't deny he didn't have the... I think maybe I've misunderstood your question.
You asked to see it. Paragraph 27, you say you asked to see it. You were not given. That's the point. So when did you then collate information that it was fraudulent if you were not given the warrant of arrest?
Oh, it wasn't at the time. I wasn't thinking about whether the arrest warrant was fraudulent or not. At the time, I was thinking, well, where the hell am I?
Yeah, okay. Paragraph 29, you say 2 hours after my arrest, maybe you went to the police station and stuff. But the last time I checked, that was not an arrest according to you. It was an abduction. So when did it change to be an arrest?
I think that's...
I mean, at what stage did you change your mind that, no, in fact, this is not abduction. This is an arrest?
I think it's a bit... Look, I understand the wording, but it's a bit of bit semantics. It was under arrest warrant, but what happened was not okay. It was an abduction. And if anyone in South Africa thinks that that was a lawful arrest, then we've got a problem.
No, but the point is, you say you were abducted by men you don't know with unbranded cars. But in the
Where did I say that? No, where did I say I was abducted by men in an unbranded car? Like in that one, like that sentence.
You said unidentified.
No, I know I said that.
So,
no, I didn't say I was abducted by men that I don't know in an unmarked car. There were several cars.
Yes.
And there were several people.
Yes.
Some without uniform, others with uniforms and guns. I do have the videos here, which I'd love for everyone to see, because I don't think that words can quite show what it was. So no, I didn't say that it was one car. There were many cars.
Yeah, that's the point. That you said that from paragraph 25, but in paragraph 29, you changed that and say 2 hours after my arrest. That's the bone of contention. That it has changed now to be an abduction all suddenly.
Look, honestly.
Okay, you want to retract which one, arrest or abduction? So that we use one word. We know what was happening.
Abduction. Arrest. Yeah, no. Don't.
Okay. Okay, so you are.
I don't mean to frustrate you.
Okay, you are retracting arrest or abduction.
Sorry?
Which one are you retracting? You can't have one situation and it becomes an abduction and an arrest at the same time. It's either an arrest or it's an abduction. So which one do you retract? Ma'am, you were not abducted. No, that's the reality.
No, I was.
Okay, let's proceed. How did you get to know an internal memo at NPA? If you check paragraph 40, say on the 31 of May 2017, an acting Director of Public Prosecution, Gauteng Division, Pretoria, Advocate Baloyi, requested the docket I had opened against Mabu, all that. There was an internal memo that he sent, but you get to have the contents of the internal memo, which you have outed some of them there. How did you access an internal memo of NP?
What date was that?
It was
2017.
The 31st of May, 2017. SJT 11. Yeah.
I don't remember how, but that, I don't.
What don't you remember?
I can't remember.
What don't you remember?
How I got it, but it would have been. I honestly can't remember how I got it. However, it was an. It was an update on the matter.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. Are you aware that the Criminal Procedure Act gives an authority to peace officers to seize any property from any person under arrest if it is suspected of having been used for a commission of a crime? Are you aware of that?
Can you repeat that?
Are you aware that in terms of the Criminal Procedure Act, a peace officer is legally authorized by national legislation to search or seize any property from any suspect if it is suspected to have been used for a commission, if there is a reasonable suspicion that it would have been used for a commission of a crime? Are you aware of that? It can be a yes or a no.
Are you Are you quoting a section?
Okay, let me say this. I think the law allows police officers to search or seize. There's even a topic, I think it's section 20 of the Criminal Procedure Act, that gives a scenario where a police officer can search and seize without a search and seizure warrant. So the point I'm driving is that for you to have peace in your life, for you to live your normal, proper life, leave this fictitious image of your abduction, your cell phone being stolen, leave those things. Accept the fact that the state is giving you an opportunity through its criminal procedure and criminal process system, for you to prove yourself that this which you have been accused to have done, which include your extortion, intimidation, impersonating an IPID official and all those things. Gather yourself around, prepare your case properly, because what you have given us here will not see the light of day in a court of law, because what you are giving here are just suspicions, but you are not giving a credible evidence on your phone being stolen. Your phone is this red phone that you're talking about? Is it this red phone that is in the annex of bundles? There's a red phone here, written Nokia.
No, I think that's Paul's, the red Nokia.
Okay, so we would advise you to go and prepare your case properly, because there is an indication, as it was said by one of the members here, that the state, through what the National Director of Public Prosecution wrote to this committee, is intending to re-enroll your case. And we are telling you that if this is the case you stand on, then you are in serious trouble, because what you are doing now, you are just giving insinuations. Your phone was not stolen. You were not abducted. So you leave that part and settle and prepare your case properly. so that you are able to stand in a committed court of law. Thank you very much, Chair.